Welcome to Square One, the podcast where we explore the beginnings of tech journeys and dive into the latest tech topics with industry professionals. I'm your host, Sharath Sridhar, and in each episode, we blend personal stories with insights into ever-evolving world of technology. Let's dive in. Today, we are going to talk about unleashing business growth with Copilot. We are joined by our guest, Jinal Jolly. Mr. Jinal, we are glad to have you here, sir.
Sure, yeah. Firstly, it's good to be here. Thanks for inviting me. My name is Jinal Jolly. I am from Microsoft's partner marketing team. We also call it as partner GTM team. Uh, we primarily work with partners to make sure they prioritize our solutions, they understand our solutions, they have everything that they need to land those solutions with their customers, help their customers adopt our solutions. So, in a nutshell, that's what I'm doing. I'm specialized on the modern work and Copilot side. I've been with Microsoft for a little over 8 years now. It's been
Mhm.
a good long journey for me. I started as a sales executive in Microsoft. My day job earlier was to just pack my bags, meet customers, understand their problems, solve their problems. This is a new role for me. The last couple of years, I'm doing a marketing role.
Okay.
Uh, I'm based in New Jersey. Yes.
Okay, sir. How did you switch to marketing, sir? Is there any difference between working in a sales job and then switching over to marketing?
Good question. There is a lot of difference, firstly.
Mm.
So, if I kind of think through from how it differs, sales is again, there are two components of it. One is an enterprise sales, the other is a SMB sales. Typically, in a sales job, and typically, if you look at an enterprise sales, we meet the customers, customer CXOs, talk to them, understand about their problem. Then we try to fit in the solutions that we can offer to them. We bring in the experts in front of them. We try to help the customers, and that's a long journey, and it's also a relationship building exercise with the customer in terms of needs that they have. So it's more a close one-on-one engagement or one is to few engagement when it comes to sales. Transitioning to marketing, it's a higher scale engagement. So think of the same customer, but there are like thousands of such customer. So how can you bring programs that could impact thousands of customers? How can you influence the partners who sell to these customers with the right strategy, with the right content, with the right enablement that these partners need to succeed selling those products with those customers, right? So that's a minor difference, I would say. It's a change in thought process with going deeper versus going broader. That's how I would briefly summarize the difference largely.
Okay, sir. That clarifies a lot. Since I started my career, I've always wondered. There is a sales department, there is a marketing department. What do they do? They sound similar. They ultimately selling to the customer. What do they do? This clarifies a lot of things for me.
Yeah, when I started as well, I thought both are same. It is clearly not when I actually went through that. So I agree.
Yeah. So it's a very different. Both are very different field actually. Yeah. So going to the next questions. So you primarily focus on Copilot, right? So what are the priorities of Copilot that Microsoft is working on, and what's new in Copilot that you can give us some highlight on?
Sure. So, uh, as most of us know, Microsoft is very deep into the AI space over the last couple of years, and you would have seen. And Copilot is our mainstream AI solution, and we highly invest and highly want customers to take Copilot into their ecosystem. So that's our mainstream AI solution. And this has been a priority, and you see the transition that's happening across the globe. It's not just Microsoft going into the AI, it's pretty much the entire ecosystem that's getting into the AI space. And today you cannot name a tech company who's not talking about AI at this stage, right? Everyone is working on the AI. So we see ourselves largely leading the way of AI in the space of organization and enterprise space, but also the consumer space as well. So our positioning is largely to help customers leverage AI in their organization every day to improve their tasks, improve their productivity, make themselves efficient, save some hours. So that's our larger vision and goal as we try to tackle this AI world.
Okay.
Um, What's recent in Copilot? There's a lot happening in Copilot, right? So, Copilot, firstly, is an AI assistant for employees to help them improve their productivity at work. That's largely what Copilot is. We launched Copilot just about 1.5 years back, or maybe like 2 years back when we announced it. At that time, it was definitely a beginning stage conversational assistant for many customers. Copilot has evolved a lot over the last couple of years. We now have Copilot integrated across all the productivity applications. So it's not just a conversational app, it's more of an assistant across different applications of Microsoft. That's a big move. We have introduced something called as Copilot Agents, which is acts by itself as a subject matter expertise on a specific topic, and that helps customers run their own agent without any coding skills. So that's another recent progress. So there's a lot happening. When we look at the partner side of the world, we are making it easier for partners as we get every day transacting Copilot. Copilot got introduced into the CSP world just about a year back, and we're making it even smoother and smoother as we get into with the right programs being launched in the partners, so that it's easier for partners to talk about Copilot to their customers and make them understand. So it's a long journey and it's exciting. So, and there's news every day, every now and then coming about what's new in Copilot. It's all happening at Microsoft because this is our number one priority, because of which we kind of invest a lot of time and effort to make sure this is rolled out every day.
One such interesting incident that I noticed with Copilot lately is I was working with one of our partners, and they are also Microsoft partners, and we were going to submit a proposal for a project, and she is not a techie, but she efficiently used Copilot to answer the questions that one could not understand.
Right.
And she answered the proposals, and ideally this proposal would take a week's time to research and submit it. We did the submission in 2 days. We had like around 70 questions. So she didn't have need any assistant. Like she had me to answer the technical question, and she had Copilot. They have Copilot 365, and she used it efficiently to get the job done, which otherwise would have taken a week. She has completed in 2 weeks and submitted the proposal on time.
That's good to know, and I'm glad that you said that. Thanks for saying that. I think this is something as a trend that we are seeing with a lot of customers in terms of saving those important hours that they could save using Copilot. One of the things that I usually use is also to use Copilot to get the thought process lined up in the way I want. So I give the right prompts into the Copilot to make sure that what is needed to go out is kind of sequenced in a way that I want it to be. And it beautifully gives the respective output for what I have asked in exactly the way I wanted. So I've seen a lot of customers, to your point, like a lot of customers using Copilot to respond to queries, to respond to questions, asking or getting up to speed about a particular topic which Copilot has the knowledge of, and then taking that onto an output and responding. So clearly that's one of the largest use case, what you said. Where a lot of our customers use.
That's really interesting to watch as it unfolds. So, how do you use Copilot in everyday basis?
Okay. Well, yeah. So there's a lot that I use. Probably I'm a huge user of Copilot almost every day. It's been just about 1.5 years. I've started using Copilot ever since that got launched. So I use Copilot for a bunch of things, and my all-time favorite, I would say, is especially in the post-COVID world, we have a lot of virtual meetings that's going on, and sometimes you don't get to the meeting on time. Meetings run over, so you get into the next meeting probably like 3-4 minutes late, and by that time you might have lost the context for that meeting on what that meeting is going to be about. And you don't want to interrupt a meeting and ask them, hey, stop, I just joined, can I know more? But what I do is I just secretly ask Copilot on the side, hey, what did I miss? Is there a context for this meeting that you can share? And it beautifully gives the bullet point wise discussion that had happened so far, which helps me bring up to the speed, and then it helps me bring into the discussion myself and start contributing. So that's, I would say, the biggest use I do.
So does it have to be a recorded meeting? Does it analyze from the transcripts?
That's exactly right. So the meeting either has to be recorded or it has to be transcribed. It will not use Copilot if either of this is not done.
Okay.
So for Copilot to function, it has to have either of this.
Okay.
And once you have it, you will have the ability to understand it. The other cool feature when a meeting happens is, let's say again were not able to join a meeting, you had some other conflicting meeting, or you have some other thing that you had to prioritize. You can go back to that meeting and say, and of course get a summary that's known, but also kind of call out, hey, was my name called out somewhere in the meeting? And it just gives, and I can also ask, was there an action item against my name? I can also look into that. So these are not just summary meeting, it also is intelligent enough to give what is relevant for me based on what I ask. And these are features that I pretty much use every day. And in the world of post-COVID, almost everyone has overlapping meetings or conflicting meetings at the same time slot. So this is a very, very useful tool for me. So that's just one of the use cases. But of course, I use Copilot for several other things, including draft.
Give us one personal thing you use for.
Sure. Personal thing. Okay. It's something that I've been recently using a lot is using Copilot voice mode. So that is, it really feels like you're talking to somebody, a friend or assistant of yourself in a conversational way. So what I do is I just download Copilot app on my phone. It's free. And you open the voice feature, and I use it more often when I drive because I get myself updated by asking questions. I don't like spending browsing for things, looking at the screen. Rather, I just try to optimize my time asking while I drive. And it's very, very a friendly conversation I have. So when I say, hey, Copilot, it says, hey, Jinal, how are you? How is the day going? It just has a lot of context to what I had asked previously. So it has all the knowledge that I had asked previously. It knows what I know already about. So anything I ask, it gives incremental information and what's relevant. So it is, it's a brilliant tool. I almost feel like talking to a friend on phone when I do that, when I have that experience. And the way it sounds back to us, it doesn't just sound like an AI voice. It's truly some human being talking to us is how I feel. So if I have a feeling of having a companionship with somebody when I have that conversation, right? So that's super important when it comes to an AI assistant, and that's something I've recently explored.
Yeah, that's a really wonderful feature. I think in future, even for teaching children, so you could use this feature and ask them to explain the topics, and it would be more friendly to kids.
You know what? It's happening right now. The same feature my daughter, who is 6-year-old, she is using. So I give my phone to her. So, and I don't want her to burn her eyes looking into the screen all the time, right? So this is speaking instead of watching, and she speaks. And the best part is when I give the phone to her, I also set the context to Copilot that, hey, my daughter who is 6-year-old is going to talk to you. Can you respond accordingly? So when it responds in a way a kid understands. So it's super intelligent in that way.
Okay, that's a really good information. Like a lot of parents can utilize this. So next thing is you are more involved with Microsoft partners, right?
Yes.
So I just want to explore that area a bit. So if a partner is starting new, and how would they use Copilot, sir?
Again, great question. And a lot of partners are starting new at this phase. So this is a very common question that we usually get. So a part of it is using Copilot, and a part of it is also selling Copilot to their customers when you talk about it, right? So that's what I do. And probably this using Copilot also applies to customers as well, right? They also might be beginners of using Copilot. So I would generally say, firstly, I think it's important for them to understand the art of prompting. A lot of results from Copilot is associated with the way we input our prompts. And it's not exactly similar to our other conversational GPTs that we have, because Copilot, M365 Copilot is based on work grounded data that is in the Microsoft ecosystem, right? So what it means is it connects with your internal systems of Microsoft to bring the intelligence that you want. So it is a simple way or simple guidance that we have for customers is, I would say, mention the goal that you want Copilot to provide. Mm-hmm. And a goal could be give me the output in like 6 bullet points, right? That's our goal. And then give a context to the Copilot. So that's step number 2, right? When I say context, hey, I'm preparing for, let's say, a presentation about this particular topic. I need to be updated about this topic. So when you give the bullet points in six bullet points, these are the topics, and this is for the purpose of delivering a presentation. So now it has a context. So now it goes and searches all the presentations in the world to get the right points. Mm-hmm. And then the other one could be, hey, give the expectation to Copilot, right? Mm-hmm. So we tell, okay, give it in a language that my attendees understand. My attendees could be a partner, my attendees could be a customer. So it gives in a language that they understand. So that's an expectation setting. So this is kind of a template we recommend customers to, mm-hmm. especially when they start to use and then they get used to it. It really helps them get a precise output rather than just vaguely typing into the chat prompt. So a lot else can be used, but this is, I would say, the number one priority that they can look into.
Got it. So the next question is, so for the customer side, so if they want to adopt Copilot, right. So what are the prerequisites you would recommend for them?
Okay, got it. So I think technology-wise, there are some prerequisites, and then I would say organization-wise, I wouldn't call it as prerequisites, but it will be more nice to have, right? Technology-wise, prerequisites are pretty simple. So for a M365 Copilot to function, the customers would need base licenses. When I say base licenses, they should have an underlying M365 solution so that the Copilot can go and gather intelligence from that solution, right? So, and when I say M365, this is your everyday emails, everyday Teams, everyday Office applications, right? So underlying licenses or underlying solutions of M365 is important for customers. And these solutions can be any of our M365 suite, right? It could be an E3, E5. I don't want to go too technical, but pretty much an M365 suite. But it's not just having a license, but it's also about having the solutions implemented for them to use. It's not just they buy license, it'll work magically. No, they should be using the solutions. They should have, technically Entra ID deployed, Teams apps deployed. So they should have their solutions deployed, the base license solutions deployed for them to effectively use Copilot. So that's more like, I would say, the technical prerequisite. But I think organizationally, the prerequisite, I would say, it's more having the organization, enabled to start using Copilot, right? Of course, it's important for employees to know what they're going to give it for them to start using. Otherwise, an employee is just going to not know how to use Copilot. So that part is also important for them to know what all they can use Copilot for. And then once they start using Copilot, then it really becomes efficient for them.
Okay. So now going to the next step, what would be the best practices for partners to sell Copilot?
There are quite a lot, and we see a lot of partners having great practices coming in. I think I would say the first step to start with is to firstly understand the Microsoft programs that partners can leverage with for them to land with the customers. It could be also understanding Microsoft's value proposition that they want partners to land with the customer. So I would say, kind of briefly, staying close with Microsoft and understand the value prop, how to land it, what language can partners use to get customers' right attention, and then gradually transitioning to how does it help customer, how does it help partners themselves when it comes to their profitability, right? It could be their incentive strategy that they could look into. How can they think about servicing, right? Copilot is not just a license sale. There's a lot of servicing partners have to do, making sure the customer environment is prepared, the data structuring is done, post sales the solution is implemented, being used, the employees are enabled how to use it. So it's a long customer's lifecycle management cycle which they have to go through. And I think the best practice would be to staying close with Microsoft to make sure that they understand each of these stages in the journey.
Okay.
And Microsoft has a lot of resources for them to help with. It probably needs another whole session for me to talk about it. But
Okay. Do you can you share any important website or place where they can go to?
absolutely. So the number one site that we recommend partners is aka.ms/copilot.csp. So that's our landing page for partners to know anything and everything and recent about Copilot. So I think that I would say that's a good starting point, and every enablement resource, information, text, templates that partners want, it's all available there in the source.
We will add the link description
Sure.
on the comments below so that the partners
Absolutely.
can access it. So I think that would be it for today.
Okay.
And thank you very much, sir, for giving us time and in this tough schedule. Thank you for spending time with us, and hope we could get a few more interviews with you, like with the long session. And thank you once again for
Absolutely.
that.
Thanks. It was great chatting. Thank you so much.